SmackDown main event.
This is the main event, Mark's podcast, brought to you by the Unhinged Sports Network and Belly Up Sports Network. I'm your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, and cat dad. I am Troy, and with me as always is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia and the main event collector. He is the Mark Henry to my D'Lo Brown. He's Greg. What's up, Greg?
No.
What do you mean, no?
No.
You're a Hall of Famer. I'm just, the guy who's a road agent for TNA. Or was.
He's the color announcer for TNA, but no.
Is he doing color for Impact now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, not now. He's been doing it for like a year and a half, I think.
That shows how much I've been paying attention to Impact, but...
It's him and Matt Striker.
Okay, so tell me right now, before we get into Survivor Series 98, what's your problem with Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown?
Because in 98 they sucked.
Oh.
Well, I mean, Mark did.
Oh, well, yeah, Mark Henry
a little
sucked for
better,
a long time. I mean, he was never, going to get 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome, so there's that, but I don't know. Either way, man, we got a lot to talk about today with Survivor Series 1998. I forgot I guess I didn't think about it. I'd never seen the show all the way through, so this was a first watch for me of the whole thing, and I don't know, I mean, we'll get into it, but very entertaining, I'd say.
I watched it live.
Oh, yeah, weren't you watching all of them live at this point?
I think in 98 I've seen every one of them live. Pretty sure I did.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I was telling you off air.
And I was at the Royal Rumble that year, too. So.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that a couple times, and every time I tell you I hate you. So I remember I was 7 years old at that point, and I was like, I really got into WWF the end of 97. So, and my favorite was The Undertaker. So that angle at the Rumble,
loser.
man. Yeah. That angle at the Rumble, man, just like, as a kid, I was like, what? No. But then he came back like, what, a week later, 2 weeks later, or something like that?
About a month.
Was it a month? Wow, time flies.
Give or take.
Yeah, okay. I just remember they wheeled him out onto the stage, lightning struck him, and he sat up, and I was like, he's back! But
I was more shocked that the Royal Rumble didn't close the show. That was what got me.
Yeah, well, I think Conrad Thompson...
I didn't either. Actually, the past couple years I didn't, but it was weird.
I think Conrad Thompson brought up to Bruce Pritchard, he was like, so did you have to grease any palms in the fire department to let them, for them to let you do that? It was like, it's a giant flame on a casket in a closed air arena, or a dome or whatever arena. But anyway, let's like I said, we got a lot to cover today, so let's just get into it. We're going to take a quick time out here to let you know that the main event Marks is sponsored by Fanatics. Get all your officially licensed sports gear with Fanatics at fanatics.com. The link is down in the podcast description. Just let them know that the main event Marks and the Unhinged Sports Network sent you. Also, we're sponsored by Swift Lifestyles. Their clean energy drinks and focus enhancers, great tasting vitamins and big brain nootropics that are made and shipped from the USA. Go to swiftlifestyles.com and use our special promo code Main Event Marks, that's all one word, for 15% off your order. Also, you're going to want to check out the latest and greatest Main Event Marks swag as we're heading into the holiday season. There's still many essential, important shopping days left, and you can check out both of our merchandise stores at maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/Main Event Marks. You can get a bunch of different kinds of great swag at both of those stores, be it t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, phone cases, whatever it be, even clocks. And it's got a ton of different, I put a ton of different artwork on both of those stores, so you can go check those out. I'm updating it weekly with new stuff all the time, and there's plenty more still to come. We've even got holiday-themed art on there for Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, whatever it be. Go check it out now. Also, make sure that you follow us on all forms of social media. We are on Twitter at @mainevent_marks. Instagram is at @mainevent_marks and at @maineventcollector. And on Facebook, you can follow us at facebook.com/maineventmarkspod. We're growing our social media audience every single day. Now we're going to take a quick break. Right after this, we're going to dive into the news and notes from November of '98. Right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/maineventmarkspod, on Twitter at @mainevent_marks, and on Instagram at @mainevent_marks and at @maineventcollector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. And we are back.
And we're back.
We're going to take a really quick timeout. First, to remind you to follow us on all forms of social media. On Twitter, it's at @mainevent_marks. Instagram is at @mainevent_marks and at @maineventcollector. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/maineventmarkspod. Also, we want to let you know that Yeats aims to provide the most unique and high-quality sunglasses on the market at an unbeatable price. They're built from the latest manufacturing techniques. Yeats shades are made for comfort, durability, and big Yeet moments. And on top of that, a percentage of all the profits go toward beach cleanups and other community outreach programs. No matter your style, their shades are here to help you chase your vision. Go to yeetsofficial.com and use the promo code BELLYUPPOD to save 10% at checkout. That's YEETZ official.com and put in that promo code BELLYUPPOD, BELLYUPPOD, to save yourself 10% at checkout. All right, let's get into the news and notes of the time here. As if the huge popularity of WWF and WCW wasn't enough, Jesse Ventura's shocking victory to become the governor of Minnesota was front page news throughout the country. Ventura has been everywhere this week, including an appearance on Meet the Press, where he took some shots at Hillary Clinton after she called his campaign a sideshow. CNN did a 1-hour feature on him.
Talk.
Oh, man.
And I'm not talking about what we previously seen. I mean, at the time, what's going on with her husband. So, but whatever.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Craig? There was no controversy ever in the Clinton administration. Nothing major nationally happened. There were no trials. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
All I know is he didn't inhale, but move on, please.
Wow. What happened to that blue dress? Oh, anyway. Today, good Lord. The Today Show
along with the bag with OJ's glove. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm done.
It didn't fit, Greg. Therefore, you must have quit. So many dated references.
I'm glad we go early for all this.
So many dated references on this.
Not really. It's within keeping of this. I mean, now that one was about 3 years prior, but it's in the realm.
Right. But the Today Show interviewed Vince McMahon about him, which Vince didn't seem thrilled about. On Raw, Vince McMahon went so far as to invite Ventura to the show the night after Survivor Series, because even with all the bad blood there, WWF wants some of that mainstream publicity also.
It's coming.
Yeah, it was next SummerSlam, right?
Mm-hmm. Less than a year.
Yeah. That was in Minnesota, right?
Yes, sir. Minnesota.
Did we? No, we didn't cover that one. Never mind. We covered the one this year, 98. Yeah. Undertaker and Undertaker and Stone Cold Highway to Hell.
Now in the archives.
Hell yeah. Spin Magazine put out a story that talked a lot.
Sorry.
What?
Spin Magazine. Wow, there's a flashback.
Yeah, right. What the hell is a magazine? Who buys that crap anymore?
That too.
But they talked a lot about the business and advertising side of wrestling, especially with WWF's more crude product. Eric Bischoff, of course, trashed WWF for, quote, selling sex to kids. Vince McMahon and Steve Austin also were quoted talking about Goldberg as an Austin ripoff, with Austin saying, quote, if Goldberg's not trying to copy me, I'd hate to see what would happen if he did, end quote. Wow. I will say this. I mean, you put the look, bro, aside. Because, like, Uncle Dave brought this up. He's like, okay, I get it. He's bald with a goatee and has black trunks. But he's like, other than that, it's like the character's nothing like him. His attitude's nothing like him. He wrestles nothing like him. He's not even booked the same way. It was all
fabricated for the hopes of a dream match. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, as a little kid, I was sitting there like, oh, they look kind of alike. They should wrestle.
Sign me up.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, it never happened. But Goldberg did eat a stunner at WrestleMania, so there's that.
And Austin did eat a spear on Raw building up to that WrestleMania. So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Payback. Tell me if you heard this one before. Teddy Hart was fired from the WWF this week.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, right. Yes.
That was kind of a shock to me because I didn't know he was there at this time.
Yeah. I don't know the exact dates, but I know Pritchard was talking about him, Bruce Pritchard, and was talking about why they let him go. I guess he had
let me take a stab in the dark guess.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's not a Twitter called "Is Teddy Hart in jail?" But he had a WWF developmental deal, but just couldn't stay out of trouble during the training camps, showing up late and starting stuff with people. So they finally decided to cut their losses.
Showing up late is probably the least of his worries.
Yeah, right. Well, I know Bruce said he liked him, but he was just young and immature. And Bruce also says he's definitely allergic to cats. So every time he saw Teddy Hart walking around with a cat, he would instantly run the other way. He said he had a conversation.
I'm looking this up now, by the way. As of recording today, no, he's not in jail.
Oh, well, thank God.
Hold on now. Full disclosure, it's only the afternoon here. So I guess over there, right. Too. So, hold on.
Does he live in Canada? Because I don't know what the time... Hey, man, I don't get that time zone thing.
It's all weird.
But, yeah, no, Teddy Hart's a weird guy, man. A weird dude.
WWE wants to hire me, man. What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, right. And the thing was, it wasn't his ability. Apparently, he was a good wrestler. He was a Richard. Best way I can say it. WWF recently made an effort to buy the distribution rights to Wrestling with Shadows. That didn't happen. Why would they want those distribution rights? I wonder.
I don't know. To put it in the Vault of Zapruder film and the porno from Hitler's bunker? I don't know.
Yeah, make sure it never sees the light of day because, it didn't paint them in a very favorable light. Yeah, so. I will say this, Dirty Pool, man, freaking Brett was wearing a wire during private interviews. That was kind of effed up.
Yeah, but he doesn't get anything for that, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, that mean Vince. Look, man, like you and I have talked about it before. It's like everybody needed to grow the hell up in that whole situation. Like Sean needed to be an adult and quit, taking shots at Brett. Brett needed to grow up and just get over it, drop the damn belt. And Vince needed to grow up and be like, listen, I'm your boss. That's my belt. You're going to lose. Shut the F up.
See, now, you're already wrong. You wouldn't have said belt, but whatever.
Oh, God dang it. Championship, pal. Give me that gold championship. Then you can go down and get your opportunity with Turner.
And call that thing a belt.
Yeah, right. Speaking of movies, there's apparently some issues between the WWF and Steve Austin over a movie deal. There's an upcoming movie called Universal Soldier 2 starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. Producers of the movie approached WWF.
Wasn't Goldberg in that too?
He was. That's actually the crux of the issue here. Because producers for the movie approached WWF about having Steve Austin in the movie and offered $55,000. WWF turned down the offer, saying that it was too low without ever consulting Austin. As a result, the producers went to the WCW next and got Bill Goldberg for the movie. When Austin heard about it, he was told that Goldberg was paid $250,000 for the movie. Pissed off, thinking he missed out on an easy $250,000 payday, Austin went to Vince McMahon, who informed him that they only offered $55,000, and he also put the blame on WWF's licensing department for not informing Austin. Eventually, Vince sent Austin a letter of apology and for how the whole thing was handled, and it seems to be it seemed to have smoothed everything over. No word on if the $250,000 for Goldberg is actually even true.
Something tells me it worked out for him.
Yeah. Universal Soldier 2 wasn't, it was okay from what I remember, but it wasn't anything that was like, oh my gosh, have you seen this yet? It's like killing it at the box office.
I'll give you one better. It blew.
Okay.
It blew chunks.
I remember I watched it because, my dad likes horrible movies, as you and I have discussed in the past, and I wanted to see it because Goldberg was in it. And I watched it, and I was like, even as a little kid, I was like, wow, Goldberg's a terrible actor. It's not like he was given an amazing script to work with, but, whatever. Sticking with the movie theme here, The Giant makes an appearance in the new movie The Waterboy, which was the #1 movie in the country this week.
Captain Insano.
Yeah, power bomb.
Sure.
Compliment the Captain Insano.
Do you know why that movie was #1?
Because Adam Sandler? I don't know.
No, it had nothing to do with Adam Sandler. It didn't do with the movie at all. Do you want to know why it was #1? This is going to take you back.
Okay.
Remember,
why?
there's no real, there's no YouTube or anything like that. Okay, there's no trailers leaking online or anything like that back then.
Yeah.
Okay? This movie was #1 because it had the debut of the Phantom Menace trailer, which was the first Star Wars since Return of the Jedi, and at that point was 16 years. So this movie sold $1 trillion because people were going to see that trailer. That was the only way to see it.
Mother of God.
That is a true story. So that movie was not a hit like everyone. It was. They took the money, whatever. It doesn't matter. But no one went to go see it because, oh my God, I got to see this movie. They went to go see it to see a trailer of another movie coming out. So there you go.
Well, a couple of things about that. You're wrong. It was #1 because it had Captain Insano in it. So, there you go. And we got to see Henry Winkler wearing high heel shoes. So, here you go.
And tattoo of Roy on his bare ass. Oh man, sign me up.
Damn straight. But this was also, I will say, this was also one of Sandler's better movies, in my opinion. So, I don't think that's really debatable. I don't know. I'd say, obviously you and I don't quote this one a lot because it doesn't have a bunch of quotes that are, easy to pick up in conversation. But I don't know. I love this film. It's right up there in my opinion with Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. So WWF is looking to run a show next year in the Georgia Dome, mostly just to stick it to WCW. I believe they did. Yeah, pretty good.
It wasn't on paper, I can tell you that. But
no, I think it was a Raw. I got to refresh my memory now. I know that WWF did in because I had seen it before. I'm like, wow, they ran the Georgia Dome? I had no idea. But yeah. Okay, Monday Night Raw took place at the Georgia Dome on October 11th, 1999.
was a Raw, huh? It could have been 40,000.
Yeah. So it's hella random though, because I mean that was right when right before Russo was about to take over the reins for WCW. So they were just
October. You might have already had them, or
he took his first official Nitro was the go home show for Halloween Havoc. So I think the next week, maybe? I don't know. For the record, I don't see actual attendance listed for that show, but yeah, I don't know. I know
we were talking about the real quick. We were talking about the Screwjob earlier, or not? Technically, but the Wrestling Shadows.
Yeah,
that was 24 years ago today as a recording.
Wow, that's nuts, man. Well, this card in the Georgia Dome, it closed. The main event was British Bulldog and Val Venus versus the Rock and Sock Connection.
Wow.
So yeah, and they had back-to-back no contests, man, because the match before that was Chyna and Triple H versus Jim Ross and Steve Austin.
I feel like I remember that match. I think Jim Ross hits a stunner on Chyna.
Good Lord. Yeah,
this is building up to Austin getting hit by the car and being off for a year.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, you know what? He's I always like Conrad said, like, well, he's bald with a goatee, man. You know what that means? Run that mother effer over with a car. Man, look at the lineup here. Not speaking of the dead of some of these people, but look at some of the names on this card, man. You got Crash Holly and Mae Young and Curtis Hughes. I mean, the headbangers. Why wouldn't people want to see this?
Say those three words, dude.
Asses in seats. Take my damn money. Well, you got the Godfather. You got the Godfather versus Mark Henry in a Hojack match. I assume that means
the hose were the lumberjacks.
I guess so. It went for a minute and a half. God dang.
For anyone listening, that's what they called them. By the way, we're not calling them that. I want to make that clear.
No. The longest match on this entire card, from what I can see, was 8 minutes long for an entire Raw. That's just.
Oh, nobody cares about wrestling, bro.
Yeah, I guess not. Speaking of ratings and whatnot, Raw beat Nitro in the ratings this week by the largest margin ever, with over 1 million more homes watching Raw. It was even crazier because Hulk Hogan was on Nitro this week, and the company got a lot of mainstream publicity from the recent deal where Hogan announced that he was running for president. In fact,
how did that turn out?
Yeah, right.
Little do we know that whole thing was just building up to the finger poke of doom.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
Well, either way, you know, becoming president, finger poke of doom, he was screwing over the public in one way, shape, or form. All right. So, in fact, despite using an endless stream of celebrities and getting near constant mainstream publicity for the last several months, WCW's ratings and pay-per-view buy rates continue to plummet. To make it worse, Raw beat Nitro during every quarter-hour segment of the show, and furthermore, they also beat them in every demographic. The ever-important demographic, man. Just to run over real quick some of the highlights of both of these shows so you know what beat what. On Raw, we see the Mankind makeover. Kane literally destroys the Brood and tries to light their asses on fire. And
so
then
we go off forever.
Exactly. And we see the continuing story of McMahon going after Austin and Rock. On Nitro, they were playing up Hogan running for president. Eddie Guerrero took on Rey Mysterio Jr. Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell are supposed to take on Rick Steiner and Judy Bagwell. Rest in peace, by the way. She just passed away.
In peace. Former tag champion.
Yes. As David Arquette says, you can't take that away from her. But they were supposed to take them on for the WCW tag titles, but there are some shenanigans and it never happens. Goldberg Goldberg utterly destroys Chris Jericho with a spear during a Jericho promo, blowing that non-feud off, if anybody remembers this. And the main event was Giant and Scott Hall versus Kevin Nash and Lex Luger, which ends in a cluster brawl involving Bret Hart. You know, the huge. I don't even know, man. But the latest on Yokozuna turning down a WCW offer to do a run-in at Halloween Havoc, those words left my mouth, is because word is that he still has hopes of getting back to the WWF, and he knew it wouldn't be good if he showed up in WCW. For what it's worth, WWF has said that they will bring him back if he can get to around 400 pounds and get cleared by the athletic commissions, but word is that he's nowhere near 400 pounds, so it probably won't be happening. Unfortunately. Yeah. Look, eating addiction is real. It does affect people. There are certain addictions that people hear and they're like, that's not real. Like, that's very real. People can get hooked on a lot of stuff. And eating is one of them that greatly affected Yoko. He stuck around for a couple more years. He didn't pass away until October 23rd of 2000.
Yeah, Heroes of Wrestling's coming up.
Yeah, good Lord. He was only 34 when he passed away, man.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. A lot of the Samoans were young when they died. Yeah,
Rosie, him, sucks, man. By the way, speaking of the Samoans, something they left out of that steroid trial episode of Dark Side of the Ring that was brought up on Jim Cornette's podcast. I forgot about. I had heard this before, but I forgot about it. Afa and Sika were sitting in the crowd, like giving death glares to the jury and mouthing "not guilty" over and over.
If it wasn't on there, I don't believe it.
Yeah, right. I guess one of them got kicked out. They said they couldn't remember which one, but one of them ended up like they saw them doing it and they kicked them out of court.
I literally have to use like an army to throw one of those dudes out of court.
Yeah, right. TNT has ordered WCW to tape a 4th hour after Nitro, which they will air on Tuesdays. It will be called Nitro Extra, and it's being used to fill time that was originally scheduled for NBA games prior to the strike.
I don't think that ever happens.
Yeah, I was going to say I've never heard of that in my life, so that must have been scrapped. I'll say this. If they were doing gangbusters ratings and killing it just like they were during the 83-week streak, that may have actually happened, but I'm going to say they saw the ratings and were like, maybe not.
It's a no from us, dog.
Yeah, right. Thunder was around at this point, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they already had Thunder going on. It's like, man, how much WCW can you squeeze out? Like, damn. I mean, I say that now with WWE having like 500 hours a week of programming, but you get my drift. I will ask, were you big into basketball this time?
Yeah. I mean, Warriors sucked back then.
So,
further proof, by the way, that I'm not a bandwagon fan when people try to accuse me of that. No, I suffered a lot.
If you're from the area, I never assume that somebody's like, I would never assume that somebody from Boston is a bandwagon Patriots fan or Red Sox fan. It's like, you're from that area.
You'd be surprised if people don't believe me. I don't think I jumped on bandwagon.
Oh, of course. If your team sucks, I would never accuse you of it.
It's like I had to put up with so much crap my entire life. This is my reward.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple words you'll never hear. Bandwagon Browns fan.
Well, maybe right now. I mean, it's getting close, but.
Yeah, we'll see. But did you care about the strike this time? I mean, you just said your team sucks.
I don't remember if I cared about it or not. Let's see. What's going on in the A's? Nothing's going on with the A's. Raiders or whatever. Yeah, I don't think I cared, honestly.
Yeah, you're like, my team sucks anyway. It's not like, oh no, now we're not going to make it to the finals.
Keep in mind, this is November, so it's the beginning of the season too. So.
Yeah, it's true. How long did the strike last? I mean, not to get too deep
I
in
don't
the
know.
woods, but
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever missed an NBA Finals, though, so I don't think it lasted that long.
yeah,
They missed the World Series because of strikes. No.
It lasted from July 1st to January 20th.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. So they had half a year.
Yeah, there you go. Wow. Moving on. Let's keep it moving here. Public Enemy. And
This is right after Jordan left the Bulls, mind you. Or, well, they blew up the Bulls.
Yeah. I remember my uncle actually had old Nitros on VHS. Throw it in your Google machine. Yeah. Well, what was funny was he had like a box of them, and I borrowed them one time. And the first half of the tape, I had to fast forward through every Michael Jordan Finals appearance before I got to Nitro. So it was like a combo tape of Michael Jordan and the Bulls and WCW Nitro. But here you go. Public Enemy and Ultimo Dragon have both been released by WCW. Oh no, not Public Enemy. Not Speak Ill
I
of the
didn't
Dead.
know they lasted that long there.
I remember seeing them as a kid, and I thought they were fun, but I just didn't care about them. I was like, they come out waving their arms. Yeah, whatever. Referee Nick Patrick will be out because he needs knee surgery after injuring his knee during the Hogan Warrior Halloween Havoc match. Mother of God. Of all things to get injured during.
How much action was going on where you had to run around and do stuff that would... Oh, man.
I know. It's like, what happened where you blew your knee out, bro? Like, damn. At least, Cornette can be like, I fell off a scaffold or whatever during a match. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, you're not gonna break your knee, man. Break your damn knee.
I know. Not during that. Like, whatever. I hope that mullet was okay, though.
He comes back with the mullet, so yeah, it was fine.
Damn straight. Full on Kenny Powers there. Viano 4 suffered a scary neck injury several weeks ago in a Nitro match with Raven.
I remember that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember him getting hurt, that's all. And they make a whole thing out of it, so it's like, yeah. Apparently he could have died. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
It was that bad.
Well, they said he tried to come back a week later and work a match, but it was way too soon, and the injury was worse than he thought. It turned out that he needed surgery. He had the surgery, and it now looks like he'll be out for at least 8 months.
Okay, so I think is that the Power? Do you remember the Powerplex from Triple X?
No, not off the top of my head.
One of them suplexes him into the other guy. It becomes like he suplexes him into the other guy brings out a power bomb, makes it a power bomb. Like he suplexes him into a power bomb.
Okay,
but Raven held on to Viano 4's neck, came out with a neck break. Oh man, that's sick. It is sick.
Dang.
I'm cringing just watching.
Wasn't that what became the DWI?
Maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah. Damn. Fox Sports is looking into starting their own wrestling promotion, but Uncle Dave Meltzer thinks it would be a bad idea unless they're willing to lose a bunch of money for the first several years. TNN is also talking about starting its own wrestling show as a lead-in for the roller derby show premiering next year.
Now that will happen.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't start their own, but, they got something. I don't know if it was a good something, but they got something.
I like how he says they will lose money. Oh, he's an expert on business now.
Yeah. I mean, I think anything was going to lose money against WWF and WCW at this time, but, I don't know. You never know. It depends on the roster, I guess, and the booker. Last couple stories here. ECW is in preliminary discussions with someone regarding getting national exposure for the promotion, but there are no details yet. It ends up being TNN, which we talked about just a moment ago.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a celebrity. Is it going to be Fred Durst?
No.
Because they do appear, Steve Carell appears at a Limp Bizkit concert. So.
I remember that, yeah. They're also looking at paying for a late night time slot on Fox Sports Net affiliates around the country, especially in New York. That does not happen, as far as I know. They just go straight to TNN.
And then lose a lot of their top guys in the process.
Yep. Well, final story I have here is just a bunch of injury news here from ECW. This seems to be the one. It's always like, hey, look at this laundry list of injuries from ECW. I know, shocker.
Wow, shocker.
Yeah, right. Oh, we haven't mentioned him in a while, so got to throw it out there. In ECW, Jack Victory will be out of action for at least a year due to a broken leg that he suffered at November to Remember and will likely require several surgeries. Yeah, I'd remember that November, too, if I broke my leg. Mike Austin.
When we first started this, by the way, we had like Jack Victor on every show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, especially in a lot of 89 stuff that we covered. It's like, damn, Jack. Then every time we threw an ECW show in there, it's like, he's here again. 10 years later. Mike Awesome will be out until next year after knee surgery. Jerry Lynn is out with a back injury. Sabu is also working with a back injury. And Lance Storm is working with a shoulder injury. Wow, talk about the Walking Dead. Good Lord. Anyway, that about does it for the news and notes. Anything you want to add before we move on?
Yeah, this time period sucked.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. On the other end of this, we're going to dive headfirst into the deadly game. Right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
This message is brought to you by Belly Up Sports. No, just kidding. This is not an NWO promo. This is just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, the host of Here in Puckburg on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I have a hockey podcast where we talk about hockey fandom and the love of the game and where that leads you in this game we call life. Why am I on Main Event Marks telling you about this? Well, what if I told you I had one half of the world's greatest tag team, otherwise known as the Main Event Marks, the one and only Greg, Superfly Greg. He was on, and he was talking about his love of the game. So you might want to come over and check that episode out. And if you like what you hear, you can check out the rest of our incredible episodes with our incredible hockey community, from PHF athletes, ESPN personalities, fathers of NHL players, and a whole lot more. Come by, follow the show, give a like, give a subscribe, and it'd be great to have you here in Puckburg. But enough about me. Let's get back to what you're really here for, the Main Event Marks, because they are the cream of the crop. Oh yeah.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we're back.
And
It's WWF Survivor Series 1998. The date was November 15th, 1998. Tagline, The Deadly Game. It took place at the Kiel Center in St. Louis, Missouri, which is a very famous arena. The attendance was 21,179, and the pay-per-view buy rate was .89, which amounted to 400,780 buys. We're getting granular with it there. WWF just was. They had the Midas touch at this time, man. Everything they touched turned to gold. I mean, they had awesome.
And then we were guaranteed a new champion too, so that helped this pay-per-view a lot.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Austin McMahon was running hot. I mean, Austin himself was just running hot as hell. They were building up The Rock. They were building up Mankind. You had The Undertaker, being The Undertaker. I mean, they were adding new layers and facets to the storyline with Kane.
Pretty good.
Yep. So, I mean, you had a lot of big stuff over there, man. So, let's get into it. We start the show off with an opening.
Before we start,
Oh, well, roll tide on that one, man. Somewhere, someplace, sometime, It's always Miller time. Anyway, we start the show off with an opening video package of wrestlers training while the voiceover talks about them sacrificing for the ultimate prize. I wish I knew the rules of the WWF name issue, by the way, because whenever Jim Ross says WWF, it's blanked out. Did you notice that?
To my knowledge, some of these pay-per-views were just never corrected when they were allowed to use it.
Yeah, because I was like,
there's a couple of WCW events too where they don't dub over like DDP's theme, so I think they just missed some stuff. So
yeah, well, it was something like this. I'm wondering, it's like, did you edit the master footage and now you're just effed? Because that's the way it comes across to me. It's like it's like you covered over the original thing. I don't know. That was my thought of it. Anyway,
I don't think they would be that stupid.
I would hope. Cursing is also bleeped out on the show, even though it's pay-per-view.
They don't give you an M rating though to start the show. To be fair.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Vince McMahon is introduced in his wheelchair ringside. By the way, you notice that it's like an electric wheelchair, and yet people push him around.
I did, yeah. I actually noticed at the time, which I never got.
Yeah, I'm like,
because what's even funnier is like you can see them pushing him, and then there's stuff happening later where he's clearly driving himself.
Yeah.
So they try to hide it.
It's like, are you conserving battery? Like, whatever. Big Boss Man.
I didn't know you could push those. I thought you had to use the thing.
Yeah, I don't know how they work. But Big Boss Man, Sergeant Slaughter, and the Stooges of Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe help him to stand up. Vince has a microphone and says that he promises that tonight we will have a new WWF champion. He then introduces Mankind, who comes out with the hardcore title, his hair pulled back into a ponytail, and he's wearing a tuxedo with a bow tie.
You're not joking about any of that, by the way.
Nope. And loafers. It's a big deal.
That one was more funny than anything.
Yeah. But it's a big deal, apparently, that Mankind's opponent is a mystery. And Vince pulls out his...
Oh, man. It delivers. Sorry.
Vince pulls out his reading glasses and reads off of note cards. And by the way, I did not look ahead. I didn't see who his opponent was. But I guessed it. I'm like, it has to be this guy. And I was right. But he says that Mankind's opponent debuted in 1990 and was in the WWF for over 6 years, boasted a one-loss record. He then went to, as Vince says, WCW, came back, and a shoulder injury put him on the shelf for 2 years. But making his return to the ring is Dwayne Gill, the former Gilbert.
And can we just take a second to appreciate that awesome theme he came out to?
Mother of God, yeah. And he just came out to, like, he had an entrance video, but it was like highlights of like Jimmy Snuka and stuff. I'm like, what the hell?
Those were all his jobs.
Yeah. So Gilbert's pyro made him jump like an early version of Eric Young. God.
Fire Dwayne.
Wow. This one is Mankind versus Dwayne Gill in the Deadly Game tournament. It went 30 seconds. He gets in the ring. Mankind literally beats Dwayne up, rolls him up, and pins him. Uncle Dave didn't rate this. I give it a dud. I guess I shouldn't have really rated it either. What say you?
I did not rate it. So
it was a segment with 2 bells.
Here you go.
Mother of God.
I don't want to play too long. I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah. This is uploaded to YouTube, so. Good grief.
It was. I forgot about how stupid it was until I watched the review with Brian Zane.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Just wow. We get a video from Sunday Night Heat where Mark Merrow was talking to Sable in the ring, distracting her, while Jacqueline blasts her in the back of the head with the WWF Women's title. In Sable's locker room, she has ice on her neck while Kevin Kelly asks her if Jacqueline threw her off her game. Sable says that all Jacqueline did was make her more motivated than ever to win the WWF's women's title tonight. Yeah. That match. We'll get into it. But first, we have this. It's Jeff Jarrett, JEFF JARRETT. Ha. Ain't he great? With Deborah McMichael. Sorry.
Whatever.
He's taken on Al Snow in the Deadly Game tournament. It went for about 3.5 minutes.
Al Snow and
head. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Al Snow has like a weird side ponytail, so I guess he did it before Bailey. No, nothing for that
Your
one.
He's from your neck of the woods, isn't he?
Oh yeah, man. He's Lima, Ohio's favorite son, only son, whatever.
It was like a made-up city.
Yeah, right. But at one point, Deborah grabs head and puts it in Jarrett's corner. This leads
a real sentence.
Yep. This leads to Jarrett grabbing head and Snow grabbing Jarrett's guitar. They both duck each other's weapon attacks. Snow gets head back behind the referee's back, clocks Jarrett with it, and pins him for the win. Uncle Dave gives it a dud. I give it a star. What say you?
Give it a star. Was what it was, which was not good.
Yeah. Not good. Bad.
Bad. Worst ever.
The hell. Deborah, apparently, her and Mongo had divorced at this point, or were going through a divorce. And according to Bruce Pritchard, she would call on a weekly basis, just ask, you got anything for me? And he's like, no, sorry, don't have anything for you. And then just randomly one day, he told her, it's like, no, we don't have anything for you. Talk to you next week. And then he gets a memo from Vince. It's like, hey, call Deborah McMichael and have her at TV next week. He's like, doing what? He's like, just have her there. All right.
What do you mean doing what? You know exactly what.
And he gives her a call, and he's like, hey, you remember when I called you a couple hours ago and said I don't have anything for you? Well, we got something for you. And
you know what? Hashtag plans changed.
Yeah, right. That'd be hilarious if he was like, well, Deborah, hashtag plans changed. Can you be at work on Monday? But up next, we got the Big Boss Man taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Deadly Game tournament. It went about 3.5 minutes. None of these matches are long, by the way. These two start off brawling in the aisle before the match even starts. In the end, Boss Man beats Austin down with his nightstick, drawing a disqualification. Uncle Dave gave it a half a star. I give it a star and a half. What say you?
Gave it 1.
Uno star.
I forgot to, going into this, how many non-matches there were.
Yeah, and how much outside of the ring brawling there is. It got annoying after a while. It's like every match. I speak too soon because, this next thing. After the match, Big Boss Man keeps beating him up for a while. Backstage, Michael Cole asks Vince McMahon if he's upset that Austin advanced in the tournament, but McMahon says that the night is young and there's still a lot in store for Austin. So, Boss Man was out there to enforce McMahon's law. Up next, we get X-Pac versus the real man's man, Steven Regal. This is real. I guess was part of the Deadly Game tournament as well.
Such a man.
Yeah. By the way, they spelled Steven Regal with a PH. Which I found a little weird.
I've never understood that when anyone's named Steven with a PH.
I know. I was like, Stefan? It was kind of like Sean with SEAN. Scene? Like, all right.
Yeah. Is this Stephen King spell his name like that too?
Yeah, Stephen King's with the PH, yeah. It's weird. And the thing is, it's Stephen unless you change that second E to an A, and that's Stephen. Whatever.
I don't English, bro.
Right. But this went about 8 minutes. Thank God.
So did I.
Well, thank God. Wow. X-Pac's very prestigious WWF European title is not on the line for this one.
Okay, that hasn't been used yet.
I don't care. Actually, yes, it has, because Shawn Michaels used it before this.
Oh,
remember?
It's only funny when Vince McMahon says it, though.
Yeah, well, I like how Shawn did that during an interview. He's like, all I got to say is I'm just glad that my prestigious European title isn't on the line tonight. Whew.
Like how one of the biggest stars and the owner both trashed that title.
I know. I think.
Why did you have it?
I know, right? I think that was the pre-Hell in a Cell interview that I'm thinking of that Shawn did that. But in November of 1996, by the way, this match could have been happening in WCW. Think about it.
It probably would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. These two end up brawling outside of the ring and all around ringside, getting counted out. However, backstage, we see Vince McMahon yelling and telling Sergeant Slaughter to run down and restart the match for 5 more minutes. This way, Austin won't get a bye to round 2. So Slaughter runs down, tries to restart the match. X-Pac is hurt, though, and he can't continue, so he just walks to the back. And then, instead of taking the win via forfeit or countout, Steven Regal runs after him and also gets counted out. Austin gets by. Okay. Both.
At this point, by the way, I'm realizing this is a 16-man tournament, not 8-man. That's why it's taking so long.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they show you the damn brackets like every 5 minutes.
I know. Like, that's so annoying. Well, this thing, I guess I'm going to assume, like, Pritchard said he couldn't remember with this one, but I'm going to assume X-Pac was legit hurt here. So, plans changed, which is why Regal had to bolt to the back and get counted out, because X-Pac legitimately could not continue. Either way, up next we get Ken Shamrock versus Goldust in the tournament.
We didn't give the rating. Are we going to rate it or what?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, well.
No, I think it's on purpose.
Uncle Dave gave it 3 3/4 of a star. Excuse me. I actually gave it 2.5. I thought it was average for these two. What say you? Maybe 2 stars.
I gave it 1. Just
really
hated it. Yeah.
I thought these two were decent.
They would have some way better matches on Raw too, so it's fine.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, up next. Though,
well, those two, no, they both suck.
Oh, yeah, of course. But it's Ken Shamrock versus Goldust in the Deadly Game tournament. Went about 6 minutes. In the end, the referee stops Goldust from hitting Shattered Dreams on Shamrock, leading to the ugliest flying Hurricane Rana in history from Ken Shamrock. He then locks in an ankle lock and makes Goldust tap out. Uncle Dave gives it 1.5 stars. I give it dose stars. What say you?
I gave it 2. I was a little into it. A little bit.
Yeah, it was all right. The only thing I didn't like was that sloppy-ass Hurricane Rana where Kenny basically landed on his damn head and Goldust had to front roll out of it. So, yeah. But other than that, it was good. Backstage, we get a tuxedo-wearing Michael Cole saying that doctors have recommended medical attention for Stone Cold, but Austin has refused it. Cole drops the lamest line ever of, if I know Stone Cold, he'll find a way to make it out there. Yeah, because we all believe that you're good personal pals with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Michael.
Well, at the time, I don't think anyone thought anything of it. You have to put yourself in the mindset of at the time.
Even at the time, I was like, look at you. God dang.
Dang it, pal.
God dang, pal. More Michael Cole. Up next, The Rock is supposed to face Triple H. However, instead of Triple H coming out, the Stooges come out to DX's music, crotch chopping all the way. That was
sure. We'll call that crotch chopping.
Yeah. And they say that Triple H
Did you
isn't
notice
there.
how They do it like Mae Young does.
They do it what?
They do it like Mae Young did.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord. It's like when your dad's trying to be cool and join in with you. Is this how you kids do it?
Hey there, fellow kids.
Am I TikToking?
Holy crap.
But they say that Triple H isn't there, and he will be fined for it. But since Triple H isn't there, they won't accept a forfeit and instead replace Triple H with the big boss man. By the way, to this day, I love how Gerald Briscoe talks really slow, and he says, Mr. McMahon.
And I love how Jim Ross mocked that, by the way, too.
Yeah, it's like, are you really one to talk, Jim? Like, calm down. But anyway,
you ever notice he took shots too at Pat Patterson being gay? There was an episode of Raw before this. I forget what he was doing. Pat Patterson was doing something, and then Jim Ross clearly says, "He's single, fellas." How did?
I mean, that's not exactly insulting him, but yeah.
I'm not saying he insulted. I just say he took a shot at him.
Yeah.
Pointed it out more or less.
The funny thing was he was not single at the time, so there's that. But either way. Up next, I guess we can call this a match. It was The Rock versus the Big Boss Man in the Deadly Game tournament. It went 4 seconds. I only have one note about the match. The rest of it was about the crowd.
I actually clocked it a little longer than that. I actually wound it and timed it. I think it went about 9. But
are you calling Uncle Dave a liar?
Somewhat.
How dare you? All right, it's on Wiki. All right.
If I ever piss again next to him, I'll say it to his face. But yeah.
Make sure you pee next to him at a Sharks game, man.
That'd be the only place.
Yeah. But The Rock is certainly getting over big with the fans already, getting the second biggest ovation of the night so far behind Stone Cold. There's a sign in the crowd on hard cam that says, ICP can suck it. Like,
they
what?
Ripped him off or something?
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? It's random. And they're in St. Louis,
I think they're freshly removed from the oddities, too. So.
Oh, no. Whatever will they do?
I don't think they ever do anything again. I mean, that was it. Once you lose them.
Yeah, right? We joke, but they did go down the tubes. Basically, Boss Man runs into the ring, gets cradled and pinned right away. Uncle Dave didn't rate it. I gave it a dud because it's 4 seconds. I assume you didn't rate it.
I did not. I didn't think it was a match. It was a segment.
Yeah. Again, it was a segment with 2 bells. There you go.
However, it does make sense. Let's not get ahead though.
Yeah.
So at least this one had a reason. So
when you start piecing stuff together, you're like, wow, things make sense now. But the crowd absolutely blows for The Rock's victory as The Rock hightails it out of the ring and the Boss Man throws a fit. But up next, it is The Undertaker with Paul Bearer versus Kane. Paul Bearer is switching partners here, folks. It is in the Deadly Game tournament. It went 7 minutes, 16 seconds.
And they are sure to let you know, by the way, that they both got a first-round bye so that they would be guaranteed to face each other. Because listen to it, they'll tell you 7,000 times.
Bearer is back with The Undertaker, who is going heel. So this is obviously setting up for the eventual Ministry of Darkness. That happens in 99, right? I want to say.
Yeah, I feel like they start setting it up in a couple weeks. Full blown at the Royal Rumble, though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kane choke slams The Undertaker, but is distracted by Paul Bearer. Undertaker then capitalizes with a tombstone for the win. Solid match and the best of the tournament thus far, in my opinion. I gave it 2.5, but Uncle Dave gave it a dud. What say you?
I gave it 2, and I did say best match of the night so far.
I don't know.
But that bar is on the damn ground at this point, so.
Kinda, yeah. I will ask, could you tell, because the way Bruce Bruce Pritchard said that The Undertaker was, like, hurting for certain here, and Conrad says, well, you can definitely tell he's in major pain during this match. I couldn't tell.
I didn't look, so
I watched the match, and I didn't see anything abnormal about The Undertaker. It's kind of hard to tell.
To be fair, though, when I'm watching a show, I'm not going to focus on a guy's injuries. I'll watch the match, so that's me, so...
Right. Well, I mean, you can tell sometimes, like, it's like, man, that guy must be hurt or something. It's like he's acting weird or moving weird or something. But I didn't think it was super obvious, you know? But I don't know. After the match, Kane knocks out the referee and leaves. The camera misses it, by the way, because we've got to see the tournament brackets again. So Lawler has to frickin' describe it.
Because if they didn't put that up, you wouldn't know that the Undertaker advanced. What do you not understand?
Oh,
they're doing it for you.
Yeah, right. Damn it, Kevin Dunn. Anyway. Up next, it's Mankind versus Al Snow.
Hell yeah. Now we're getting into the psychological wrestling part of this show.
You're damn right. This another tournament match, obviously, went just shy of 4 minutes. This one gets jump started as Al attacks Mankind. In the end, Mankind found Mr. Sacco wrapped around head, which apparently McMahon stole to mess with Mankind, and he wrapped it around head, and Mankind had no idea. He thought he just lost Sacco. But anyway, Mankind...
It's all real.
Yes. He took the one man's sock and put it around the other man's mannequin head. Yeah, it happened. But anyway, Mankind takes it back. Beats up the mannequin head, and then he delivers the Sacco claw to Al Snow, causing him to tap, I guess. I didn't see. They just called for the bell. Once Mankind releases the hold, Al is coughing and laughing. That was something. Uncle Dave gave it a half a star. I gave it 2. I thought they made the best of their 4 minutes. What say you?
1 star. Sucked. I started having flashbacks to when everybody did their moves to head. Do you remember when The Rock did the people's elbow to head?
No.
No.
That's awesome. Speaking of The Rock, we've got Ken Shamrock up next, taking on The Rock for like the 3rd time this year. It's in the Deadly Game tournament. It went just shy of 8.5 minutes. Big Boss Man ends up coming to the ring partway through this one and circles the ring with his nightstick in hand. Shamrock ends up kicking out of a people's elbow and reverses a rock bottom into a belly-to-belly. Finally, Boss Man distracts the ref and tosses the nightstick to Shamrock, but The Rock intercepts it, blasts Ken in the face with it, and gets the pinfall win. This is 2 to 3 times already tonight that the Boss Man has supposedly messed up. Keep that in mind. Uncle Dave gives it 2.5 stars. I gave it 3. What say you?
I gave it 2. Wasn't that bad, but considering what we've seen from them, considering when I was actually at 2, I saw it was really good.
What show was that at the Rumble? Or what shows? Oh, okay. I forget when all they faced off. I knew they faced off at King of the Ring, now in the archives. It's our first show ever.
Rumble and WrestleMania, all the big ones.
Ah, okay. Wow. So yeah, they I think this was a wrap up. I don't know if they did face each other again after this. I don't remember it.
Not to my knowledge, because they'll both be on the same team for a while and Shamrock will be gone. So yeah.
Yeah. There you go. But backstage, Michael Cole is standing by with Paul Bearer, who says that the only rock the Undertaker likes is the cold, hard granite that you can carve a name into for a gravestone. Clever, I guess. But up next, it's Jacqueline defending the WWF Women's title. She's got Mark Merrow in her corner, by the way. Against Sable. This one went just over 3 minutes for a damn title match. Not that I wanted this one to continue, but, just the point. Shane McMahon has been made a lowly referee by his father, so he's officiating this one. Mark distracts Sable a lot. Sable hits a TKO on Jacqueline, which was Merrow's move, But Miro pulls Sable out of the ring so she can't pin Jacqueline. Sable kicks him in the nads and then hits a Sable bomb to Mark Miro live on pay-per-view. Thank God.
I don't think this is the first time she's done that on pay-per-view, though. It happened before.
Yeah. Well,
thank God.
Well, not that he was, getting ready to burst through to the main event or anything like that, but like, hot damn. Thank God he didn't really sell this for more than a few seconds. He was up in like I said, just a couple of seconds, he was back on his feet. In the end, Sable blocks a tornado DDT, hits the Sable bomb, and beats Jacqueline to become the new women's champion. Uncle Dave gives us a star. For these women, I gave it 2. What say you?
1. I give it 2.
I should specify. For Sable, this was a 2-star quality match. For Jacqueline, yeah. It's one of them, like they say, well, that was the best match so-and-so ever had. But his opponent, that was probably the worst match he ever had. But up next, this is actually, one of the bigger ones here tonight. Maybe the best one, but, we'll get into it. It's Mankind versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Deadly Game tournament. It went about 10.5 minutes. Austin rips off Mankind's jacket and loafers. Mr. McMahon gets wheeled to the ring by Commissioner Slaughter.
Mr. McMahon.
And the Stooges early on in this one. This brawl goes all over. Austin overcomes the odds to hit the stunner, but McMahon jumps out of his wheelchair to pull the referee out of the ring and knock him out. Knocked him colder than a banker's heart. Austin ends up hitting a second stunner on Mankind, and referee Shane McMahon runs out, counts to 2, stops, and flips Austin off. That is an iconic image, by the way. They used clips of multiple times. Austin is distracted by Shane, eventually comes back to pick up Mankind, and very audibly, at least to me, it sounded like he shouted, "You were supposed to get up!" And then Mankind ends up dropping Austin. Sergeant Slaughter holds him up, and Gerald Briscoe lightly taps Austin with a steel chair so that Mankind can pin Austin for the win. I know it sounds like a lot of gaga, but Uncle Dave and I both gave it 3 stars. What say you?
I was on the fence. I think I gave it 2. Yeah, 2.
I don't know, man. And this was the one. This was they had to completely improvise the ending. Well, we got to throw the script out, and now they're got to improvise. Because Big Boss Man refused to follow the script. No flashbacks. Come on. But okay, so the planned finish was Boss Man was supposed to run down there when Austin went after Shane, and he was supposed to take out Austin and help Mankind win. Well, for some reason, Boss Man wandered off, and they couldn't find him backstage, and they were like, well, crap.
Wouldn't you too if you were messing up all night? Yeah.
Well, apparently he was off BSing with The Undertaker about their next match or whatever, and Pritchard said he was losing his mind backstage, yelling, "Where the F is Boss Man? He was right here." So, yeah.
You should go have a beer.
I guess so. But, yeah, so this was an improvised end, and Gerald Briscoe lightly tapped Austin because he was afraid of, legitimately hurting him because Austin had neck problems. So you can literally hear when he hits him, it goes dunk. Wow. You can freaking hear it. I was like, did that just go tunk? I had to rewind it a couple times.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. You go back now that I said that. Go ahead. It's like dunk. But everyone runs to the back into the parking lot. Now all of a sudden, Big Boss Man is running alongside him. He's there now. But Austin runs to the back. Everyone loads into McMahon's limo and takes off. Austin rips a dude out of his SUV and commandeers it to chase after McMahon's limo. Because that's legal. But now...
Well, semantics.
Yeah, right. God dang it, it's Austin. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Speaking of which, how many times do we see that man break the law on national TV and live pay-per-view? And it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, immunity.
Yeah. Like the Sandman, when he commandeered that ambulance and drove it all through the streets of Florida or whatever the hell.
Yeah, the extreme helicopter followed him.
Yeah. Because Paul Lee can't afford to pay his talent, but he can afford a chopper, damn it.
Where do you think the money went?
That's true. If I may have another volley, sir, I cannot pay you this week because we rented out the extreme chopper. I'm sure you understand. You got to lose money to make money.
That sounds like we call meth heads last tooth.
What the hell?
The extreme chopper.
Good grief. Anyway, up next is The Undertaker with Paul Bearer taking on The Rock in the Deadly Game tournament. Went about 8.5 minutes. During this match, we find out that the Big Boss Man didn't leave, and he ends up coming out to distract The Rock. But it looks like The Undertaker might win. Kane runs out and chokeslams The Rock, getting The Undertaker disqualified. So Uncle Dave gave this 3/4 of a star. I gave it 2. Thought it was average. What say you?
I gave it 2 as well. I remember watching this live when Kane ran out. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Are they teaming again?
Yeah. I was like, okay, he screws over the Undertaker. I get it. All right. But after the match, The Undertaker and Kane brawl through the crowd, which is another theme through the night. Backstage, Michael Cole is standing by with Mankind, who's wearing a weird button-up shirt over his white dress shirt. And Mankind says, I've got one more rock to climb if you smell what the sock is cooking.
Real sentence.
All right. I chuckled. It sounds like a dad joke. It's like, good Lord. And we'd hear a lot more of that when he becomes commissioner later on. But up next, man, might be the worst pile of crap. I don't know. But it's the New Age Outlaws, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn defending the WWF Tag Team titles against the Headbangers of Mosh and Thrasher and the team of D'Lo Brown and Mark Henry. It is a triple threat tag team match that went about 10 minutes.
Yes, this went 10 minutes.
Yep. Billy Gunn gets into an argument with referee Tim White at one point. That's not wise.
Yeah, he'll kick your ass. It's not wise.
Yeah, right? While Thrasher and Mark Henry are brawling in the corner, Billy Gunn hits a pile driver on Mosh for the win. I said this wasn't a terrible match, but it was a cluster. Points off for that one. Uncle Dave gave it a star. I gave it 2. What say you?
I gave it a whole star.
It was just like, it looked like nobody knew what was going on. I was like,
I didn't.
Yeah, it's like, are all 3 of us in the ring at one point? Do we have to tag in and out? Who's supposed to do what? I don't get it. I don't know.
We're just filling time. I'm just having a
Basically.
match so I don't get fired.
Good Lord. Well, after the match, Billy Gunn gives us all what we want, and he moons the crowd, and they all love it. So apparently he did give them what they wanted.
That's what I was waiting for.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Ass
Must
showed him the
that
goods.
ass.
Damn straight. It's the Mr. A double crooked letter. But it is about time we get into the main event, so we're going to take our second to last break here. When we come back, it's main event time, right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Fanatics offers the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and gear from all the leagues, teams, and players that you love, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, NCAA, NASCAR, soccer, and golf. They even offer esports gear for the gamers among us. You can shop by brand, sport, team, or player. And if you sign up for Fan Cash, you get exclusive weekly deals. So head on over to fanatics.com today. Fanatics is a sponsor of the Main Event Marks and Unhinged Sports Network. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we're back.
We're back.
During The Rock's entrance, we cut the camera to back where Vince and Shane McMahon are talking with Big Boss Man, who's getting ready to leave. They tell him that if he sees Austin, flip him the bird. Boss Man then leaves as the McMahons head back into the arena. So the final match of the tournament here.
Just get out of here already, dude.
Say what?
So just get the hell out of here already. You screwed up enough tonight.
Yeah, I know, right? Or did he? Anyway, the main event is Mankind versus The Rock. It's the Deadly Game tournament final for the WWF World Heavyweight Title. It went 17 minutes, 10 seconds. Partway through this one, Vince and Shane McMahon swagger out to ringside. Rock and Mankind, like about 5 matches before them, brawl through the crowd. At one point, Mankind has a steel steps laying on top of him while The Rock just beats the crap out of him with a steel chair. I've said this in multiple matches between these two. It looks like Dwayne Johnson legitimately wants to murder Mick Foley. It doesn't look like The Rock is just beating on Mankind.
He hates that man. He's man's kid.
Yeah, right? He almost murdered him in front of his children.
Now you're getting ahead.
Yeah, I am, but The Rock ends up moving at one point, causing Mankind to crash through the Spanish announce table on a dive. In the end, The Rock locks Mankind in the sharpshooter, and just like the previous Survivor Series, Vince McMahon tells the timekeeper to ring the bell. That's the end of this one.
I've seen that somewhere before.
Yeah, right. See, feels like 12 months before this, something oddly familiar happened. Uncle Dave gives this 3.5 stars. I give it 3. What say you?
I gave it 3. Low-hanging fruit here, but best match of the night.
Oh, well, yeah. These two were... I always thought they had great chemistry. No, yeah. But I feel like these two always had great chemistry with each other, either as a team, against each other, whatever. Something clicked with these two, man. After the match, everyone pops for The Rock's win until Vince and Shane McMahon get into the ring, and Vince hugs The Rock. Then the crowd boos, realizing that they've been had. Vince,
so swerve, bro.
Do you remember your reaction at the time seeing this live?
I think I was pissed.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen it coming. Like,
I sure as hell didn't.
I mean, I know what happened. Obviously, this was, 3 years ago. But
you know what got me is on Raw the previous week. He gave Vince the rock bottom hit with the people's elbow. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It's all forgiven now?
Well, that's what Bruce Pritchard is saying. He's like, well, if you look back, anytime he had physical contact with Vince, it was always something like the people's elbow or whatever that you could write off as, he took one for the team. It was just an elbow. Like, you never actually beat the crap out of him, So,
should have, though. Would have been even more of a swerve, but
yeah, right. But it worked, man. Vince ends up grabbing the mic and says, "Seeing is believing. And tonight, Vince McMahon didn't screw the people. The people screwed the people." Then he says that everyone is right. But he says that everyone is as pathetic and gullible as Mankind, who looks hurt and confused. Vince then thanks Shane and congratulates The Rock. By the way, he tries to snap the belt around The Rock. Apparently, they just got new snaps on the belt. So that's why you see, he just gives up and The Rock just puts it on his shoulder after a while. As Pritchard actually talked about that. He's like, yeah, he couldn't snap the damn thing. So he's like, you're going to have to hold it, pal. But The Rock then tells the fans to kiss his ass before Mankind tells Vince that he never submitted. So he says, Dad, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. And Vince says, you don't get it, huh? Well, get this. And then The Rock blasts Mankind in the back of the head with the WWF title. Then he lays him out with a rock bottom before posing because, Rock must pose, pal.
Wayne must pose.
Hell yeah. He poses with Vince and Shane. Stone Cold now returns to the arena. and the crowd blows their crap. And, of course, he rushes the ring, and Vince and Shane hightailed it. The Rock beats him down now until Austin finally gets an opening, and he hits a Stone Cold Stunner. And then he dumps The Rock out of the ring. Then he hits a Stunner on Mankind for old time's sake. Austin goes outside of the ring and beats down The Rock some more before flipping the double bird and leaving the arena to close the show. So that does it for that, man. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to get into the final ratings, tell you what's to come on the podcast.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Same mother and father.
Your room was...
We shared the room.
Shared a room.
We shared the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Broadcast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah. Well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. There. Nearly stuffed up the ending.
Yeah, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
And we're back. The final ratings. Internet Movie Database gives us 7 out of 10. CageMatch.net gives it 6.77 out of 10. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 for a C. What say you?
I mean, there was no wrestling on the show at all, but I still gave it a C plus because it was like, I guess it wasn't meant to be a wrestling show at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think what I had told you was like, if you're wanting a good wrestling show, you're going to be really disappointed with this one. But as like an entertaining show, this was great. Especially when you get to the end and you see the swerve, bro. That just made it. So, I don't know. It was good stuff. I enjoyed it. I liked watching it back. Like I said, I was deep into my fandom in '98. So, yeah, I had fun watching it. I'll say that. But all right, man. Yeah. It was, that's kind of the whole point. It's like not everything has to be great, but if you have fun watching it, then it's kind of all that matters.
So it's got to be a home run. Just get on base.
Exactly. Hey, some people made a living off of that, man. But yeah, so that does it for that show. This Friday we have the bonus show. Freaking bonus. It is actually our second bonus show of the month. If none of you paid attention, we uploaded a special YouTube exclusive bonus show on this Tuesday in Texas a couple weeks ago as of this. So go check that out. It's a good companion piece to our first show of the month, actually, which was Survivor Series 1991. A couple 30-year anniversaries we're hitting. But this week is Double Main Event Week. On your podcast feed, you can expect this one. It's WWF Raw is War from November 4th, 1996. That is the infamous Pillman's Got a Gun episode.
Pillman's got a gun.
And I'll say this, man. I just watched it. I finished watching it back today, and I was just like, wow, they really didn't care about wrestling on the show either.
I try to tell you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got plenty of notes. Not many on the matches, but I got plenty of notes. So, we got some entertaining stuff to talk about. I like, we cover some historic stuff that's not necessarily good, But if there's plenty to talk about, plenty of meat on the bone, I like talking about it. And I know you and I both have fun with that kind of stuff. So, yeah, a lot of news from around that time as well. And next week, it's the day before Thanksgiving, man. November 24th, WCW Mayhem 2000. The second and final Mayhem.
The end of an era.
Oh, I know. It's just that, when you think about historic events, people are like, man, I just want to have my WrestleMania moment. Or do you remember that big thing at Starrcade? And, I just always wanted to be on Mayhem. I knew that would get you.
At least Halloween Havoc, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, that, yeah, I don't know, man. But all right. So that's coming up. That's closing out the month. Like I said, this is double main event week. So this Friday, be on the lookout for that in your podcast feed covering Raw's War from November 4th, 1996. I had fun today, man. Thanks for being here today. Mm-hmm. And we will see you all this Friday for Raw's War, Pillman's Got a Gun, and next Wednesday for WCW Mayhem 2000.